In the headlines, 4 bandits neutralized, 192 animals recovered in Katsina State. 6th batch of Nigerians in Ukraine arrive Abuja with 301 evacuees. New legal advice from Attorney General of the Federation's office exonerates suspended DCP Evacuees of money laundering allegation. And Saudi Arabia executes 81 people in single day in the largest mass killing in decades. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Zainab Bala. Hello and welcome. Katsina State Police Command has paraded the remains of 4 bandits killed by its operatives when they fought an attack, raided and burnt down 3 of their camps in Katsina State. The spokesman, Katsina Police Command DSP Gambo Isa, stated this on Saturday while addressing newsmen at the State Force headquarters. Abdullahi Ahmadi files in the report.
Credible intelligence was received that terrorists in their numbers on motorbikes, shooting sporadically with AK-47 rifles, attack Emama village, Molumfash local government area, and roasted unspecified number of cows.
The hoodlums were blocked at Kukashika village of Molumfash local government area by the police, engaged them in a gun duel, neutralized the 3 terrorists on the spot. Similarly, the police neutralized another suspected terrorist at Entumaki Forest when they were returning from their nefarious operation at Tugugari village of Matazu local government area of Katsina State. The rest of the suspected terrorists abandoned the domestic animals they rustled from the village and escaped with gunshot wounds. In the same vein, armed robbers numbering about 10 invaded the residence of one Isuhuna Governor of Tashar Dankao village of Dutse local government. The police rescued the victim and arrested Haliru Idris, Suleiman Yusuf and Jibrin Abdullahi in the process. I, Sule and Jibrin, as well as 9 others now at large, attempted to rob our victim, but our attempt failed. We formed a robbery syndicate, but look at how we ended. The police have also burnt down 2 notorious terrorist camps at Yellawa Tasharbiri in Damusa local government and notorious Evacuees bandits camp in Safana local government.
And a hideout of a notorious terrorists Iraqi at Safana local government area of the state destroyed their camps, recovered 2 operational motorcycles belonging to the terrorists, 131 roasted cows and 55 sheep.
The Katsina State Police Command has also succeeded in arresting one Jamilu Saidu, who specialized in calling people through their GSM phones, threatening them to pay ransom or risk being kidnapped. When he threatened one Abdusalam Hassan of Sabangaren Dambajida in Binda local government, where he asked him to pay 200,000 naira ransom or risk being kidnapped. The suspect was traced and arrested while investigation into the case is ongoing. The command assured that the suspect will be charged to court for prosecution as soon as investigation is completed, and appeals to public to continue providing credible information that will assist securities in bringing the dastardly attacks on people by terrorists and other criminal elements to an end. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
In outer security matters, operatives of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC in Zamfara State arrest 3 suspected vandals of armored cables worth 205,000 naira only in Maru local government area of the state. NSCDC also parades 2 suspects with fake currency. The report.
Parading the suspects before journalists at the State Command headquarters in Gusau on behalf of the State's Commandant of the Corps, Commandant Akushi Sparks, the public relations officer, Iko Oche, said that the suspects have severally tampered with installations belonging to Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company, KEDCO, which causes power outage in the local council.
Vandalization of KEDCO cable installations valued at 152,500 naira and 52,500 naira respectively. But when it was vandalized, the criminals sold them to scrap buyers at a rate of 18,000 and 13,000 respectively. These criminals are three groups of criminally minded boys by names Jamilu Muhammad, 18 years, male, of Nasarawa area, Maru local government. Shehu Bashar, 18 years, of Yalda area, Maru local government, and Bashir Samaila, male, 22 years, of Sabongeri area, Gusau local government, Zamfara state, all in Zamfara state. They were arrested on the 9th of March 2022 by the operatives of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps.
He warned that the Corps will not relent to hunt down this kind of hoodlums who are hell-bent on truncating and sabotaging the candid efforts of the government. In other development, the Corps also paraded two suspects on criminal conspiracy and cheating. They were arrested in Gusau metropolis for duplication of fake currency.
One Sumaya Bara, aged 35 years, a female, who conspired with one Mukhtar Musa, aged 52 years, male, to duplicate money for her through the use of voodoo. They both confessed to their crime. The former, who happens to be the complainer, said that the sum of 500,000 naira was given to Mukhtar to duplicate the money to the tune of 3 million for her. But as God could have it, Nemesis caught up with them. That wasn't done. And while the Mukhtar also confessed that he was actually contracted to do that same job, but unfortunately it failed. Here, as you can see, Mukhtar has a lot of items that he uses for the voodoo. It may interest you to know that Sumaya, who is a complainer, is at large because when she noticed that she too is involved, found guilty of conspiring with Mukhtar, she decided to be at large.
Among the exhibits recovered from Mukhtar were assorted spiritual perfumes, 2 white plain cloths, 4 papers in form of booklets with ambiguous Arabic symbols used for voodoo. The Corps said that the suspects will be charged to court to face the full wrath of the law after the conclusion of investigations.
Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje says insecurity in the country can be addressed with robust combination of legislative and judicial interventions as well as government reforms. He said this at the 2022 alumni lecture of the University of Ibadan. The governor, in his lecture entitled Challenges of Insecurity and Nation Building, said the nation faces lingering security challenges.
Nigeria faces a range of security challenges, including terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, drug trafficking, cybercrime, robberies, weapons proliferation, human trafficking, communal clashes, and ethnic nationalism, militancy, manipulation of social media and hate speeches, economic and financial crimes, subversive activities, harassment, farmers' clashes, youth unemployment, piracy, among many others. Therefore, efforts to tackle insecurity can only be effective if there is a robust combination of legislative and judicial interventions with the government reforms that address some of the acute human security challenges confronting a vast majority of our population. The formulation and effective implementation of policy and programs capable of addressing the root causes of insecurity in Nigeria is crucial, especially with regard to poverty, unemployment, environmental degradation, injustice, corruption, porous borders, and small arms proliferation. To modernize the security agencies with training, intelligence sharing, and advanced technology, logistics, motivation, and change of orientation.
Elsewhere, Chief of Naval Staff Rear Admiral Awal Gambo flags off 2022 operation titled Obangame. He expresses that the operation is aimed at improving security in the Gulf of Guinea. The flag-off exercise is aboard the Nigerian Navy ship Thunder at Onne in Eleme local government area of Rivers State. The report.
As part of efforts to protect the maritime economy to ensure continued, sustainable use of maritime resources and enable the security of maritime trade, the Chief of Naval Staff Rear Admiral Zubairu Gambo said the exercise Urban Game Express is designed to improve operational readiness, maritime domain awareness, information sharing practices, and tactical interdiction expertise. Speaking further on the exercise, the Naval Chief said this year's exercise is particularly instructive considering the effort of the Nigerian government at operationalizing the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement.
According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the African Continental Free Trade Area has the potential to boost intra-African trade by 33% and cut the continent's trade deficit by 21%. Notably, the maritime industry and the shipping sector in particular constitutes a critical driver in the implementation of the ideals of African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Gleaning from the foregoing, it is expedient that Gulf of Guinea nations create a safe and secure maritime environment to boost maritime trade and commerce. It is thus envisaged that Nigeria and indeed the Nigerian Navy would provide a lead role in this regard.
The Chief of Naval Staff commended United States government through the U.S. Africa Command and other international partners for facilitating and sustaining the exercise, expressed Urban Game just as he expressed hope that this year's exercise would achieve the target of ensuring security at the several waterways amongst Gulf of Guinea nations. Flag Officer Commanding Central, Naval Command, Rear Admiral Idi Abbas, says the exercise will keep maritime and economy business alive and will provide the impetus towards enhanced overall maritime safety.
Exercise Obangame Express 2022 presents that ample opportunity for the Nigerian Navy to work together with other regional and friendly foreign navies in the spirit of the Yaoundé Agreement. The exercise, from its inception in 2010, has grown in both complexity and in accomplishment, starting out with just 9 participating nations in a centralized exercise. Obangame Express has moved to decentralized events with about 28 participating nations and about 100 individually evaluated events.
The exercise will aim to create a safe and secure maritime environment for shipping and other economic activities through the prevention of piracy, sea robbery, crude oil theft, illegal bunkering, and other forms of criminalities within our maritime domain. Pertinently, 32 nations will be conducting concurrent activities within the 5 maritime operation zones in the Gulf of Guinea during this year's exercise. The Nigerian Navy has deployed 8 ships, 1 special boat service unit, 2 helicopters, and the 5 maritime operation centers.
The exercise is expected to last for 6 days within the Gulf of Guinea nations, with 24 friendly forces participating in this year's exercise with representatives of the agencies including United Nations and Africa Command present.
6th batch of Nigerian evacuees from Ukraine arrived Saturday evening at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, airlifted from Hungary where they had fled following the war in Ukraine. According to the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, a total of 301 Nigerians were evacuated on the flight, some of whom are students stuck in Sumy, a Ukrainian city that has suffered repeated Russian attacks. The commission said the evacuees also got free SIM cards loaded with airtime to allow them to reach their family members, as well as received $100 for transportation as the batches that arrived before them. Earlier, over 1,000 Nigerians had arrived from Ukraine in 5 batches. The returnees had fled Ukraine to neighboring countries like Poland and Hungary, from where they were airlifted to Nigeria. Office of the Attorney General of the Federation has issued a new legal advice exonerating suspended DCP Evacuees from money laundering allegations. In a letter written on behalf of the AGF by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Minister of Justice, Mohammed Abubakar, emphasized that the evidence contained in the case diary had no link between Kyari and Hush Puppy. According to the letter, the evidence contained in the case diary is not sufficient to indicate or show that the said monies to the tune of 279 million were laundered directly or indirectly by Kyari to disguise their origin, adding that the police report on the investigation failed to probe the gaps identified in the investigations by the AGF office. Consequently, the AGF office advised the IGP and police management to explore their internal force disciplinary organs against Kyari through the Police Service Commission to sanction Kyari for violating the social media policy of the police by responding to the Federal Bureau of Investigation's indictment on Facebook, breaching the police code of professional ethics by acting on complaints unilaterally without recourse to established protocol, and detaining a suspect, Vincent Chibuzo, for over a month without a valid court order with regards to his fundamental human rights. Your Washington Trust TV News update coming up. Making fortune from scraps. All right, welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update. Here are our top stories. Katsina State Police Command has paraded the remains of 4 bandits killed by its operatives when they fought an attack, raided and burnt down 3 of their camps in Katsina State. And 6 batch of Nigerian evacuees from Ukraine arrived Saturday evening at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, airlifted from Hungary, where they had fled following the war in Ukraine. Still ahead, Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has confirmed 8 new cases of coronavirus in the country. The agency, in its latest update for Sunday, March 12th, said the cases were reported from 2 states. For the 22nd consecutive day, no new death as a result of COVID-19 complications has been reported in Nigeria, while the COVID-19 death toll in the country remains unchanged at 3,142. Meanwhile, 5 persons were discharged on Saturday after recovering from the virus, raising the country's total number of recoveries to over 200,000, with a total of over 200,000 cases confirmed across the country. Now, fortune smiles on Yazid Surajo, a graduate who scavenges in Lagos for a living. Surajo's scraps business is now growing, enabling him to employ others to help realize his ambition. The report.
I give you the money for it. Let me just pretend as if I give you some.
Yazid Suraju is a native of Karofi in the Sima local government area of Katsina State. Though a university graduate with a master's degree, he chooses scavenging scraps when he could not get a job after the National Youth Service in 2016. When Daily Trust published his interview in April 2021, one organization assisted him with a place in Lagos to expand his scavenging business.
I had met, some correspondents from different newspapers, especially Daily Trust. It is through, the interview that we did with them, I am opportune to meet some people. That is one, platform on social media called House Room on Instagram. So those people, they just watch, the video that we did, that interview. They just, put interest in seeing that they, lay their helping hands in seeing that they help me to have, my own place, have my own boys, so that I can, at least employ some people to reduce the level of unemployment in our country.
Surajo speaks on prospects and challenges the business faces.
If I am opportune and also my capital reach the status that I will employ more than even that 10 people that we promised with them. But now I don't have the capacity or ability to employ those 10 people because of the little resources that I am managing that they gave me.
There you go, an inspirational there. Now, against the backdrop of predicted shortage of rainfall in northern states this year, farmers have been told to use drought-tolerant crops varieties to mitigate the impact of long dry spell expected in June. Executive Director, Institute of Agricultural Research, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Professor Muhammad Isiaku, gave the advice in an interview with Trust TV. The report.
Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET had in its seasonal climate prediction hinted that farmers should expect normal rains in 2022. It, however, predicted long dry spells and shortage of rainfall in far northern states. Yisheu Yao has been a practicing farmer for over 60 years. He said these predictions are not new to them. Yao said he always advises farmers to plant early and, in addition to fertilizers, add manures on land to help it retain moisture for a long while.
We have been hearing these kinds of predictions for long. We used to prepare for this. Oftentimes we procure local manure, but these days we abandon our old ways. Technological advances have set in, bringing varieties of crops that can withstand harsh weathers, but farmers must prepare. We know all this when we are growing groundnuts and the likes. When farmers prepare, God will help us to overcome the calamity of drought. We take advice from extension workers, and farmers should heed to these advices.
For Executive Director, Institute of Agricultural Research, Professor Mohammed Isiaku, farmers should procure drought-resistant variety of crops against such long dry spells.
We participated very actively in the said prediction announcement by the agency, during which we took note of the issues that you raised. There is going to be a possibility of early onset of rainfall, in late onset of rainfall for most of the northern states, except for Kaduna State. Kaduna State is expected to start experiencing rainfall relatively earlier than normal. Earlier than normal means we may expect rain to start around May in Kaduna State, but many other northern states, the rainfall is expected to start and stabilize only when we get into June. So The drought you are alluding to is not only in June, but they have also predicted the onset of drought between August and September. So our advice to our farmers, and for this purpose, we have also established a strong linkage with farmer groups, those that we work with, to intimate them on the current developments in weather changes, as it is going to affect their production activities.
Isiaku also advises government to protect local farmers by banning food importation into the country.
Advise government to ensure that our agricultural market is optimally protected to provide for farmers a profitable market. This can be achieved by curtailing unnecessary food import from abroad. It is the profitability of agriculture that will sustain our farmers in the practice of agricultural production and sustain our security in terms of food production.
Nigeria's government recently announced trade policy to stop foreigners from buying farm produce directly from farmers.
And on the foreign scene, Saudi Arabia has executed 81 men over the past 24 hours, including 7 Yemenis and 1 Syrian national, on charges including allegiance to foreign terrorist organizations and holding deviant beliefs in the largest known mass execution carried out in the kingdom in its modern history. A statement from the Interior Ministry said the individual were convicted of various crimes, including murdering innocent men, women and children, adding that the accused were provided with the right to an attorney and were guaranteed their full rights under Saudi law during the judicial process. The statement further said the kingdom will continue to take a strict and unwavering stance against terrorism and extremist ideologies that threaten the stability of the entire world. Saudi Arabia's last mass execution was in January 2016, when the kingdom executed 47 people, including a prominent opposition Shia leader who had rallied demonstrations in the kingdom. And that's it on News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thanks for your time and company.